Alright guys, today I just want to make a quick first person style video. I just want to go over my tackle when it's one or two rods and I try to play it pretty minimal. Usually what I have on me is, like I said, these two rods or a combination of two rods, and then this bag, which is the OSP hip bag. It's one of my favorite bags. I love it. It's got two compartments with like extra side compartments. And here I have a pair of pliers that I have hooked up. And then this is just for treble hook situations, if I need to cut anything. And it's tethered, so if I pull it out while I'm waiting in the river, it doesn't fall or anything like that. I have my line cutters, just when I need to cut some line. These are good for braid and fluorocarbon. And then I just have an extra pack of Hayabusa Power Stage 3/0 hooks. EWG fits mostly any situation, and it fits multiple things, so I keep that in there. And then in the main pocket, kind of where you see all the magic happen, is my plastics, which are going to be dominant. In here I always have a bonus Kasumi Design Bone Doctor. I have, depending on the situation and what I'm doing, today I have a Valley Hill Ebby Shad 3-inch. I have the Gnocchi Bite Guts in, I think they're a 3-inch as well, or a 3.5. Really cool trailer free rig situation. And then these are new, but I really like them. They're the Bait Breath SL Remix. Super cool craw imitation, shrimp imitation if you're in the saltwater, because it's for saltwater situations, but it fit really well in the river. Has really cool action, and I'll show up a close-up of that later. I have the Gary Yamamoto 4-inch shad shape worm. I also have the Dual Realis 3-inch tail shad for my finesse jig presentations. I have the Jackall honey nuggets with one Depths bull flats, and then the honey nugget 3-inch. And then I have a Megabass Hazadong shad 4.2-inch for my free rig. I was gonna try something different, but didn't get a chance to. And this all kind of changes based on the situation. And then something that I'm really excited to try are the Rain C-Pod 4-inch. Super cool bait. Lots of action, lots of things going on. Bottom bait, kind of like the Nishini Lure Works Namazu, which is the catfish imitation bait. This kind of reminds me of that, where it's like you would just drag it on the bottom. And then here we have the tackle box. Oh, and then back here there's this cool zipper where I have some extra jigs. I have the 3.3 tugger. I'm going to add the 4 gram tugger. I have a Tokyo rig, just kind of very light for shallow situations. I think it has the 1/8 Texas hook, or Texas Texas rig weight, and then a 3/0 hook. And then I have my favorite jig of all time, the Evergreen Stable. And then I have the Owner Compact Structure Jig, and then some Magic ball head jigs, 0.9 grams, just to kind of fit different situations. And then in here, I have a Ned Rig, just for when things get hard. And then I have a jig ready to go from Raid. It's a cover jig. Super neat jig. And then I have this for river situations, because it's been working very well, which is the OSP Bent Minnow. super easy bait to throw, super easy bait to use. I feel like it's a combination of subsurface and topwater. And then here I have a couple hair jigs. I have a hair spinnerbait, hair tied. And then I have the Jackall RV frog style topwater bait. Pretty cool for when things get hard. I'll throw this, kind of finesse it along the top. It does a popping action. Super simple. I was trying to do a deep diving crankbait. I used the Jackall. And then I have a Jackall bug dog. Okay, let me take this out. And then in here I have a wide range of hooks. Just depending on the situation. If I want a free rig, if I want a different weight for free rig, if I want to add clips to switch things out, I have this in here. So it's kind of like a terminal tackle slot I have over here, and then different hooks just to fit different situations. This hook, really interesting hook. It is the Ryugi Limit in the number 2 size. Love this hook. Really good. Really impressed with it. And then back here, I have just some spinnerbait and spoons. I have a Nori's spoon right here. Super simple. I have some drop shot hooks. I have the Lucky Craft Arrows in here ready to go. A wacky rig. Another spinnerbait with a drop shot hook attached to it. And then the Nori spoon. This is the Boone 2.5 gram size. And then a super finessey spinnerbait. And I'll talk about it more in a little bit. I'm just going to show you guys a quick close-up video, and then you'll hear back from me. Guys, here, as you can see, is kind of like a close-up of the tackle situation. 3/0 hooks, line cutter, pliers with multi-tool, a finesse jig from Raid, cover, tackle. Here are different hooks. From a number 2 size hook to a three-aught, 4/0, swim bait hooks as well, the Kazumi design. Dancing Bone Doctor. You can see the different compartments. There's the bent minnow. Some hair jig stuff. The Jackall Lash Hour. The Bug Dog. And then just kind of the soft bait situation. Bait Breath, Bite Guts, Yamamoto Shad. Honey Nugget with a random bullflight in there, the Rains, and then a Hazadong Shad, depending on what I needed to do and what I wanted to try. A Ned Rig for when things get pressured, and then the bag. Like, that is kind of me being a minimalist. I wanted to show real quick a really interesting bait, which is the trailer. It is the Bait Breath SL Remix. I keep wanting to say SLX, but it's not. It's just SL Remix. It is a trailer. It looks like a crawl, it looks like a shrimp. It is really cool. Has a ton of action on the fall, which is where the bites happen. Super detailed. lots of moving parts. I used it once as a trailer and I'm already in love with it. I ordered a couple packs just to stock up. This color is almost like a candy grass, as it has those purple and green flakes, but it's also more of like a brown too. So it's like a candy grass with a brown undertone. As you can see, it's pretty clear. So yeah, let me get one out of the pack. Alright. As you can see, tons of details. I think it's supposed to be a shrimp, but can look like a craw as well. As you can see, it's very see-through. 3.5 inches. Super compact, but it's bulbous enough that it kind of gives skirts on the back of a jig a little bit of puff and flare. So something cool to try, something different. The phalanges have a ton of movement. Alright, on to the reels. Here I have a Jackall Revoltage medium heavy 6/8 rod on a Daiwa SLP Works Zillion. And then I have here just kind of a free weight depths Death Adder. I think it's the 6-inch, if I'm not mistaken. Might be the 5. Don't quote me on that. But simple on a 5/0 hook. Just kind of throw it, let it fall, bring it back. This moment right now this week, I've been throwing a lot of weightless flukes. So I've been kind of trying to just do the weightless fluke situation. This kind of pulls through once you let it sink enough. This pulls through pretty well. I would say that this is too heavy of a rod, so I'm going to take my jerkbait rod, take the mono line out, and put some 6-pound BFS Jackall line in, and see how that kind of does with more of the fluke situations, more of the jerkbait situations. See if I can overall make it like just a better rod. This, too much power. The line is like a 14-pound fluorocarbon line, so too heavy for fluke. It doesn't give it a natural movement. So yeah. And then the other rod I like to take is the Tatula Daiwa 610 spinning with the Daiwa Kage MQ reel. Super comfortable, super nice reel. And this is mainly what I use for fluke fishing. I just kind of tied on something real quick just to prevent the line from disappearing and me having to rethread it. So I won't talk about that. But if we move over here, I can talk a little bit about free rigging. So if you can just imagine with me a line, and so this is the end point and your reel is and rod is somewhere this way. Free rigging essentially is you attach any bait onto your EWG or straight hook, and then there is a looped drop shot style bait or weight, not bait, looped so that it kind of freely moves within the line as it wants. It can't be the drop shot weights that clip. It has to have a loop. And so tons of companies are catching on, different technologies coming in. There are free rig weights specifically that have cushioning so that they don't make noise. There's free rig clips so that you can exchange weights. Fuji makes those. Japan Import Tackle sells those. I've posted about them before. But either way, free rig is essentially a different style of what many of you might know as Texas rigging something. So in Texas rig, the weight is pegged or free, and so the weight will kind of create a aerodynamic situation, or like a bullet in a sense, because it has a bullet weight. And so as it flies through the air, the bullet will detach and it'll float down, and this will kind of pendulum down. Really effective concept for certain waters. Free rig just gives you a different option for a different situation. It has a loop. The weight is usually teardrop shaped or kind of pendulous in a way. And so you throw your bait, everything goes up there together, and when it lands, this quickly detaches and it creates a V in your line. And so now you have your weight at the bottom, perhaps, if it's heavy enough. I use 1/8 because I fish pretty shallow rivers. So it still reaches the bottom pretty quickly. And then it causes tension on the line. And so rather than this weight detachment that creates this pendulous movement, it does a quick detachment, touches the ground, creates a V, and your weight more so falls straight down. And so in that situation, sorry, let me silence my phone. So detaches, hits the ground, this creates a V, and it has more of a straight fall rather than a pendulous fall. And so then, you know, you reel your stuff in, it reaches the weight, and then you pull it, and it rinses and repeats in a sense. The only thing is it doesn't fit all situations. It's not the end all be all. You'll hear people talk about free rig. It has its own situation. It has its own place. There, I have lost hooks and weights fishing in the river beds because I let it kind of get stuck between rocks. You can lose it. It's not like you won't lose it 95% of the time. If you don't fish it right, if you fish it carelessly, you will have the same likelihood of losing this setup as you would any other bait, especially river fishing. The other thing that I don't like about it is at one point or another, when it gets too close to you, there is not enough momentum that you can build to separate the weight from the bait and create enough pendulous movement, because the weight is perhaps not heavy enough. In my case, the weight isn't heavy enough to completely pull and then pull this back to you. So in my case, it attaches and it only almost becomes like a Jackall rig that can separate. And so once it gets close to me, at some point or another, it becomes kind of an attached situation. So just kind of keep that in mind. And I hope that helped. Again, this was just a quick overview of what I take tackle-wise when I go kind of fishing quickly, when I don't have a lot of time, when I want to be minimalist, when I want to just focus. I know what I'm fishing for. I know I'm not trying a lot of different things. I'm just kind of honed in. Really what changes up is the plastic situation, the soft bait. And I might take 2 reels. I usually end up with 1. And then the other thing is all of this can change. That is what I love about this. I love that I can take out the Hazardong shad or put him in, and if it doesn't go well, I can take it out and put the dual realis in. If it doesn't go well, I can take these out, or I can fit all of these in. I like how dynamic this simple setup can be. These compartments, it makes me kind of think a little bit harder about what I'm taking, but it also lets me still explore. Like, there's a crank in there, there's jigs in there, there are hooks for just weightless stuff, for free rig stuff. I can cover top water, I can cover bottom, I can cover that mid area. It's just kind of whatever you want it to be. Like, I decided to throw in this deep diving crank, and I learned that I didn't like a deep diving crankbait. One more thing as I pack up. You have to remember, there's a ton of stuff out there. There is a ton for you to try, and it's not a one-size-fits-all situation. I encourage you to try as many baits as you can. I know things can get expensive, but soft plastic kind of makes it fun because you can get a lot of different baits. One of the things I like to do is I like to buy used, but I encourage you to try different baits, because you will be surprised at what you can get in different situations. So the other day I was fishing, and there was a pond that was by a river, and this jig right here, before I put this SL Remix craw on it, or shrimp, since it's saltwater, I had this 4-inch shad-shaped worm, and I threw it with this shad-shaped worm in the pond, and it instantly started getting hit. I had about 2 fish on it before I switched over to the river, since it was just a couple of like a couple feet away, maybe like half a mile. And I was throwing this combination and nothing was happening. I wasn't getting any bites. I was just, touching bottom, nothing. And I switched to this, and literally on that cast, I had a fish on. Like, it was just that fast. Switched it out. And that's why I like having different plastics with me. I like trying different things because it reminds me that, like, not every situation that I'm in fits every bait that I have. And so sometimes I'll have to get creative and just be willing to kind of admit when it's time to switch something out and try something new. So, ask questions if you have any. I can point you to sites. I can point you to answers if I don't know them. I just encourage you to try this stuff out. I love JDM products, so I hope you get to try some out, and I hope you have the same experience, but you won't know until you try things out.